Hello, I'm Ali Khan, Industry Cloud Leader at PwC, and I'll be your host today. Today we're here to talk about our Industry Cloud for banking, which we believe will drive the future for our banking clients. Here to talk about what this means in detail is Peter Pollini, our Banking and Capital Markets Consulting Leader. So Peter, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ali. It's always great to see you.
As a leader of a banking and capital markets consulting business, you have a pulse on what's important to executives, particularly in the banking industry today. Can you provide a quick overview on what you believe is the most important things that executives are looking for?
So the first thing that I would start with is this is an incredibly complex time for our clients. Every day they're faced with challenges exterior to their businesses around geopolitical risk, rising interest rates, inflation, regulatory mandates, and they're trying to manage through those in a way that allows them to still manage their growth aspirations, trying to deliver new products and services to clients. It's a really difficult environment. The interesting thing is it's not a new environment, and some of the change we're seeing now really stemmed out of the beginning of the pandemic. If you go back 3 years ago, we had a significant change in banks' willingness to leverage technology for the future. And that started with the pandemic and consumer changes where they were forced to adopt technology at an unprecedented rate. So you think about mobile banking, you think about bill payment, think about online account opening, think about check capture. Consumers started to change the way that they interacted with banks. At the same time, we had a situation where our banking clients were forced to use technology different. They needed to install one-click forbearance programs. They needed to adopt and deploy PPP programs, all technology-based, and do it in a very short amount of time. And that created all kinds of confidence for the banking industry. At the same time, we started to see some changes in the market where banks were starting to see opportunities to grow and maybe use technology differently. And using that confidence, they started to think about what a modern platform would look like. And as part of that analysis, they started to look at the cloud, and they started to look at not only the benefits of the cloud from an infrastructure and maybe cost standpoint, but maybe how they deliver products and services differently and really create opportunities in the market to take share back from parts of the banking industry that they might have lost share over the course of the past few years. So the last few years has been instrumental in growing confidence in banks, making investments, and really looking at how do we become more opportunistic in the market with some of the investments that we're making.
How is PwC thinking about leapfrogging our clients, particularly when it comes to this platform-based modernization that you just referred to?
It's a great question, Ali. And the first thing that I would do is I would separate ideation and innovation. I don't think there's any question that banks have understood where there's opportunities over the years. And generally speaking, I do think that banks are innovative in terms of understanding where there are opportunities and how to potentially address those opportunities in the market with technology. I think, candidly, infrastructure has always been a bit of a limitation for them. And so as we kind of move forward into today's environment, you look at some of the investments that have been made in cloud, you look at the adoption of agile processes just with how you manage change in a bank, and you think back to the confidence and opportunity points that I mentioned earlier. We're seeing a lot of banks that are really starting to think about not just the ideas that they have around solving problems, but really being serious about making the investments that they need to bring those new products, new services, new ideas, new ways of doing business to their clients at a pace we haven't seen before in the past, Ali. And while we spend a lot of time thinking about cloud transformation from an infrastructure standpoint, we don't spend as much time thinking about the benefits of the cloud and rethinking the way that products and services go to market. So I know you spent a lot of time there with clients and are core to some of our investments around how to think differently about client experience and bringing new products to market. So maybe give your point of view on that.
The interesting thing, and I think you alluded to it in your earlier conversation and comments, is the fact that the cloud business as a whole has evolved. This is really juxtaposing the cloud business into the banking business or vice versa. If you look at the initial evolution of the cloud business, it was basically around the provisioning of generalized, I would call it infrastructure, compute, network, storage, but was not specialized to any specific industry needs. This is when what we call Cloud 1.0. What is happening of late is the specialization of that infrastructure, and I use the term infrastructure rather loosely in this case, but specializing that infrastructure to the specific needs and subtleties of banking itself. The proposition that PwC particularly has in the space is one of a platform. So an interesting example, you can see there's a lot of platform examples that have been tremendously successful in the market, whether you look at rideshare or whether you look at house rentals or temporary accommodation rentals and so on and so forth. But those are all platform propositions. The PwC proposition, particularly from a cloud enablement of the banking industry, is concerned with building out a platform view of how can we actually enable the banking business anchored into what we traditionally do from a technology perspective, more specifically from a cloud perspective. Putting all of this in an envelope, this is what we call our Cloud 2.0 business, which is primarily our industry cloud business. What is your perspective from a banking standpoint around a bank in a box or, a bank as a platform proposition?
One of the decisions that we made almost 2 years ago is that as advisors helping clients to solve problems in their business, we needed to think differently around our approach to investment in helping clients modernize. So over the course of the last couple of years, we've basically been building a bank infrastructure, as you know, in PwC. And while we have the components of, we started with the building of installing a core banking platform. And then we built the APIs into other industry vendor platforms. And then we added a core and we added more services and we've added more APIs. And most recently, we've actually started to integrate into ERPs. And so if you think of the benefit that creates for our clients, if you think of the 80-20 rule, if we have 80% of the functionality already built out and there's another 20% of configuration or customization that you'd like to do around a platform, we feel that's a real game changer for us in our client base, that we can walk in the door with some pre-built services that will allow clients to get to market faster, more efficiently, with less risk, with more reliability, and ultimately cheaper, of course, ultimately being cheaper than perhaps major changes might have been in the past.
Can you talk a little bit about, are there ways for our clients, because our clients are in various parts of their transformation journey. Some clients are looking to build out a digital bank right from the ground up. Others are in a particular part of that journey, so to speak, or maybe in a different part of the journey. Are there parts and pieces of this platform proposition to banking that we have envisioned?
It's a great question, Ali. I would say thanks to your architecture, if I think of this in bookends, on one bookend, if you think of a full-fledged, if we had a client that was looking to launch a digital bank de novo, I feel very confident that we have the baseline architecture and services and relationships with third-party, application providers to really get you back, get you out into the market quickly with some selection, choosing between different vendors. We feel very good that we have a nice portfolio. With the connections into other third-party services that you would need to have. I mentioned on an extreme example, an ERP, for example, ERP connectivity. So that would be kind of one example where we could deliver the infrastructure with our cloud services with all the applications that you need to launch a digital bank relatively quickly. At the other bookend is you might just need one core service that we have in our portfolio that we could pull out and help you plug and play relatively quickly. And then you can plug and play the different components in between depending on the need of the client. I think core banking is a good example. Most companies have looked at replacing their core banking platform at some point in the last several years. There's some modern platforms that are out there, and we feel very good about our ability to help to reduce the time to market, reduce the cost, and reduce the risk of potentially changing a core banking platform. I think similarly, if you look on the front end, you think about your client experience and delivering new client experiences and an effort to try and bring more clients onto your platform. If you look at a client, integration layer, a UI, UX Historically, those are platforms that were built by and run by vendors. They were either old and very difficult to replace, costly to replace, potentially risky to replace given the customer impact, or they were a vendor platform that had been heavily customized and resulted in the same challenges of trying to either manage it and maintain the platform. We feel very good that in today's world, that's a place that we could very quickly swap out a more modern kind of client engagement layer that might not have been possible in the past.
So in essence, what you're saying then is PwC has a unique proposition on banking, which basically looks at the overall canvas of banking to solve full end-to-end transformation challenges. But at the same rate, we have not lost sight of the fact that there are particular set of opportunities that clients want to be able to maximize on in a particular domain. And the way our banking design and banking architecture has evolved is it's able to address those small silos as well.
I think that's right, Ali. Flexibility is important to our clients, and we realized we needed to build a business that was flexible, not just in the traditional context of consulting where we're advising clients and we're helping them solve a problem, but where we're actually building a solution. And I think we feel really good about the decisions and investments that we've made are the right ones for today to help clients get to market faster with their transformation programs.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Let me talk about the elephant in the room, which is cost, right? In the current economic environment, cost is a major concern for a lot of executives. So two concepts there. Cost can be the hard dollar spent, so to speak, but it's also the cost of delivery in terms of the time it takes to actually put something out in the market, right? How can you reduce those MVP cycles, right? Conceivably 9 months to a quarter or so on and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about that agility as well as bringing down the bottom line cost number?
Yeah, we feel very good about the investments we've made. First off, that they're fit for purpose for today's environment. But secondly, that we have the configurations in the teams that can help to accelerate an otherwise maybe de novo build, that we can actually bring some modern day third-party platforms to market to accelerate change, Ali. From a cost standpoint, your 9 months to 3 months, your 18 months to 12 months is the way that we've been thinking about it. Is that aggressive? Perhaps. I think it depends on the facts and circumstances of the situation. But if we're not bringing a product that gets you to market faster, improves the client experience, improves the reliability, and improves the ongoing cost to maintain an application, and drives additional benefit in terms of third-party service access, resiliency, right, uptime on the platform, we probably wouldn't be promoting a platform that didn't try to help to solve all of those different problems.
Makes sense. So Peter, this conversation can go on because I love listening to you given your market acumen and your banking acumen in this space, but all good things must come to an end. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing some very provocative and incisive perspective with our viewers. Once again, thank you so much.
Ali, thank you. As always, it's always great to see you and always great to talk about the market together.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us for this discussion. This is one in a series of video blogs on Industry Cloud that we encourage you to tune into the series. For more information on these topics, visit pwc.com/us/industrycloud.